It is very windy out there, so I'm not looking forward to going out there, but I've got to take the pie out to the freezer. We just had a power cut. It's been stormy today, this afternoon and evening in particular. The power's back on now, so quickly getting the kids in the shower, and thankfully we'd finished dinner, and thankfully I wasn't making anything. I got an apple pie made for Angus's party this afternoon, and I've wrapped that up in 2 layers of tin foil, and I'm going to take that out to the freezer now. And there goes the fire siren. It is very windy out there, so I'm not looking forward to going out there, but I've got to take the pie out to the freezer, shut the chickens away and get out a chicken for dinner tomorrow. It's very windy out here, but the power's still on. Got my chicken, back to the house. We're a bit distracted from homeschool lessons this morning by a neighbour's tree, huge tree, getting either severely pruned or cut down with some heavy equipment, and huge branches, huge chunks of branches swinging way up high in the air. have started 2 kumara and jars on our kitchen windowsill to sprout. This one's got a good bunch of roots in there and little sprouts coming out the top and the side of it. Yay! Hopefully I can do better with sprouting in a timely manner this year. And then we've got one on the other windowsill. This one was a bit slower to get going. It's only got 2 roots down the bottom. The roots don't really matter, it's the shoots that we want. It's got 1. Oh, maybe a little one there. I started the kumara sprouting a little bit earlier this time. I have it on my planner to get the kumara started in the jars of water in the middle of August, so like the 15th of August it's written down. These ones, I can't remember exactly the date, but it was a few days before that. And this time I did 2 instead of 1. And we're the start of September now, so it's only been half a month, so hopefully they're going to be ready to plant sooner this year. I managed to get a bunch of cookies made for Angus's birthday yesterday. Of course I did a double batch, so it's way more than we need, but we've got plenty of cookies in the freezer now to last us for baking for a while, so I'm sure that will be helpful, and it's good to get another food item checked off the list. In just a little while I'm heading off for my gastroscopy procedure. My stomach is rumbling because I'm hungry. I can't eat for 6 hours before the procedure, so I got to have breakfast this morning, made sure I finished it early enough. And I'm looking forward to it being over and done with and being able to eat some food afterwards. So, a bit nervous about it, but I know it's necessary and I'm looking forward to getting some answers. It's been a busy week for me this week, a bit of a tough week, although it's gotten better now, but it's party week. Angus's birthday is on Saturday, so I've been doing party prep, making one food thing each day, well each day that I've been able to. So far I've gotten an apple pie made and put in the freezer, some ginger nut cookies made and put in the freezer, and some strawberry muffins made and put in the freezer. That's all that I'm going to do in terms of baking, aside from the cake. So that's good to be actually on top of the food things. We also had Angus's birthday and my gastroscopy. That's just how the timing worked out. It was the soonest appointment I could get. So it was the day before Angus's birthday, which wasn't the best, but at least it wasn't on his birthday. I'll talk about that later, but it was a pretty hard day the day after because my throat and esophagus were more sore, and I was really tired from not sleeping well and just going through all of that. But I did manage to get some prawns cooked for Angus's birthday dinner. Prawns and chips and some salad things was what he wanted. Well, he actually wanted roast pork, but I knew I wasn't going to be able to manage that So we're going to do that on the weekend. But the prawns were really nice. It's probably the most exciting thing that I've eaten in the last few months. Even though they didn't have garlic on them, they were very nice. We've had pretty nice weather this week. Things are definitely warming up and feeling like spring, but I haven't been able to get any gardening done yet because of all the other things. So we're just working our way through what we need to do. Angus has been working really hard on his truck, his wooden truck that he's building outside. Once I allowed him to use the drill, which Steve was a little bit iffy about, he's just come forward and leaps and bounds with it. He's been screwing bits of wood on. He's only cutting things with the handsaw at the moment, but he's managed to cut quite a few different parts, and it's becoming more and more elaborate. And he's been drilling holes and things as well, so he's been working really hard on it, trying to get it finished for his party so he can play with it with his friends, which is really cool. Steve was a bit worried about the amount of screws he was going to be using, but yes, he is going to be going through some screws, and yes, they cost money, more money than nails. But to me, the value in what he's learning and the creativity that he's expressing and fun that he's having, and yeah, really just the amount of skills that he's building is definitely worth it, because, you know, we could pay to send him to a woodworking class or something, and that would be a lot more expensive than some screws. So he's developing the skills to make things for himself for fun, but also for other projects. If they start young on learning practical skills like this, then there's no stopping them really from what they can do when they're older. The best way to learn something like that is by doing it, by seeing what works, by making mistakes. That's all part of the learning process, so I think it's really cool.
Charlotte likes watching me drill holes.
She likes watching you drill holes. successfully pulled off Angus's party somehow, so that was good. Some good teamwork in the end. I seemed to do a little bit better at being organised each time, and despite hard circumstances this time, we did a little bit better again, I think. Planning to make no more than one food thing a day in advance. I'm not making food every day, but that helps me to plan because I have lots of other things to do too. So if the party's on Saturday, I plan to make the cake on Friday and no other food unless it's something easy like popcorn. So all the baking has to be done before Friday, and that helps a lot. And having a list and writing down all the things that I need to do. So Steve hauled out some good games from our old youth group days, like undies and ice, where you freeze pairs of undies in one each in a plastic container, or Steve just did a plastic bag this time and that worked all right. And then they each get one and they have to smash the ice with hammers to get the undies out. And then the person who wins is supposed to be the first one to get the undies on, but Angus wasn't keen on that, so it was the first one to put the undies on the donkey's head, the plastic bouncy donkey. So it was quite entertaining. Steve also made a squirrel pinata, and he helped me to make the tiny clay squirrels for the cake. The waterfall cake was interesting. Somehow I pulled that off. I just made it up as I went along. I made one normal sized round cake and then 3 little round ones and cut them into whatever pieces seemed to work for a bit of a hill or a cliff or a waterfall. The food colouring went a little bit more purplish blue when I added it to the icing. And also, if you look closely, it split. The icing was not one that I'd tested before. I quickly whipped up a white icing recipe that used some coconut cream, and when I put the food colouring in it, I don't know, the combination of ingredients made it split a little bit. But it actually turned out to be a good thing because it made it kind of shiny and actually look a bit more like running water. So that was a happy accident. And Angus was pleased with it. It was a lime flavoured cake, which I'd also never made before, but the actual lime cake recipe was really easy, so that was good. It was just all the figuring out what to put on it and getting it all decorated in time. Angus had a great time with his friends, and we tried to find out what was his favourite part of the party, and he said all of it. So not the most helpful feedback for how to do better, but I suppose it's the best feedback you can get, really. So I'm glad he had a good time. Now I can have a rest. Thanks for joining us in today's vlog, guys. Choose to grow hope, and we'll see you next time. Bye.